Honorable colleagues, the motion is an urgent need to forestall high mortality rate occasioned by high manganese concentration in borehole water in Ugulangu, Okao, and Onitsha communities in Ohazara, Ivo Federal Constituency of Ebonyi State. The House notes with concern the growing number of deaths in the above-mentioned communities, resulting from the consumption of contaminated water from boreholes with very high concentration of manganese. The House is aware that high manganese concentration in borehole water can result in a permanent neurological disorder known as manganism, with symptoms that include tremors, difficulty in walking, and facial muscle spasms. These symptoms are often preceded by other lesser symptoms, including irritability, aggressiveness, and hallucinations. The House also knows that over the years, these communities have suffered from lack of clean water and have been bedeviled with the burden of guinea worm infestation for several decades before the intervention of the UNICEF through the Imo State Drinking Water Supply and Sanitation Project in the early 1980s. The House observed that seasonally, the surface water in these communities, ponds, streams, rivers, and lakes are polluted by flood water from the rainy season, with biological contaminations emanating from human activities making the water unfit for domestic consumption. The House also observed that the borehole drilling firms do not comply with the set-down regulation guidelines for drilling of borehole or are not properly certified by Ministry of Water Resources concerning this outbreak. The House are aware that recently, with gradual improvement in the economic status of the people, individuals have augmented the efforts of the Ebonyi State government in drilling several boreholes within the communities. While these are commendable as it has greatly reduced the incidence of guinea worm and diarrhea, however, the situation has not changed from owing to the exposure of the people to even a greater problem of high concentration of manganese in these boreholes owing to failure to ensure quality control measures in sinking the boreholes. The House worried that with data generated in 2023, these communities continue to record high numbers of deaths, particularly among young persons. In the last 10 years or more, similar deaths and several illnesses like kidney failure, liver, and other organ failures have been registered and had become rampant in these communities. These are attributed to the consumption of this contaminated water. Mr. Speaker, the House resolves to all the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to investigate the impact of the high manganese on the people in the affected communities and further liaise with development partners, individuals, and government agencies to ensure compliance with the guidelines and regulations for drilling of boreholes. The House ordered the Ministry of Water Resources and Rural Development to certify every borehole before it is made fit for human consumption. The House, as a matter of urgency, ordered the House Committee on Health and Water Resources to undertake a holistic survey of these communities and also investigate the nature of the boreholes sunk in the affected communities to ascertain whether they meet standard procedure and guidelines. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, sir.
Any seconder? Yes, Honorable. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My colleagues, my name is Clement Jimbo. I represent the people of Abak Etmekbo Ika Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Health and Water Resources for further legislative input. The next matter is coming from Honorable Dr. Aderemi Oseni. Is he available? Please go ahead.
The People's Speaker, Happy New Year. My respected colleagues, my name is Engineer Aderemi Oseni. I represent the good people of Ido Ibarapa East Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise this glorious day to bring up a matter of urgent importance, and I stand on Rule 8, on Rule 8, Order 8, Rule 4, to raise this matter of urgent importance on the need for the federal government's intervention to cushion the devastating effects of the fire outbreak that ravaged Maya markets in the Ibarakwa East local government of Oyo State. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Speaker, sir.
Any seconder to the first leg? Yes, Honorable, go ahead.
Therefore, I still represent the good people of Agata Prayer constituency in Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to second the first leg of the motion. The motion is urgent enough to be held.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg. I have not heard the voice of my sister, Honorable Kafila. Is she around? I'm sure she'll be willing to second the second leg.
Good morning, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kafila Togbara. I represent Koshofe Federal Constituency from Lagos State, the Center of Excellence. I rise this afternoon to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Doctor, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and my respected colleagues. Once again, I rise to raise this motion on urgent need for the federal government's intervention to cushion the devastating effect of the fire outbreak that ravaged Maya markets in the Ibarakwa East local government of Oyo State. The House know that the good people of Ibarakwa East was thrown into confusion and agony on the 20th of December 2023 due to a ravaging fire outbreak that raced down the popular market called Maya in the Ibarakwa East area of Oyo State and destroyed goods worth hundreds of millions in naira. Mr. Speaker, also note that the ugly fire incident burned the entire structures, goods, and facilities in the market to ashes. The unprecedented incident occasioned wanton loss of goods, shops, and properties, with some people sustaining various degrees of injury. All efforts by the people to contain the fire proved abortive. Further note that the market is the major market that serves the people in the area, and as a result, the fire incident has left a lot of casualties, loss of markets, as the structures were completely burnt down, loss of goods that was several millions of naira, trading capitals of the people which were largely borrowed, and loss of livelihood, as trading is their major source of livelihood of the people, as they are dominantly farmers and petty traders. Concerned that the traders just restocked their shops for the Christmas sales, the effects of this incident on the affected persons and the community at large is unimaginable. It has thrown the affected persons into pain, unimaginable agony, depression, and hopelessness. Cognizance of this and under the renewed hope of mandate of Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, no Nigerian should be allowed to wallow in hopelessness. Hence, the urgent need to bring succor to the affected persons. The federal government, through the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is urged to immediately send relief material to affected persons and collaboration with other intervention agencies, assist the affected person with startup capital to as much as practicable. The House resolve and consider expedience to call on NEMA and other interventionist agencies to immediately send relief materials to the affected persons and work out modalities to urgently rebuild the markets. Call on small and medium enterprises development agencies of Nigeria, SEDAM, to provide grants and startup capitals to the affected persons to enable them start afresh. Mandate the committees on NEMA, trade and investment legislative compliance to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sir.
Any seconder, Honorable Jafaru, the new Labour leader.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Jafaru Gamboleko, and I represent Bogoro Stafa Balewa. I rise this afternoon to heavily second the motion as moved by my honorable colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the committees on NEMA, trade and investment, and legislative compliance for further legislative inputs. It's my pleasure to invite Honorable Engineer Rodney Ibikibena to move his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And my dear colleagues, my name is Honorable Engineer Rodney Ibikebina Ambayewe, representing the good people of Southern Niger of Bayelsa State.
Honorable Rotimi, can you approach?
Mr. Speaker, I rise under Order 8, Rule 4, to move this motion of matters of urgent public importance on urgent need to contain oil spillage from offshore facilities around certain Ijaw coastal communities to forestall all further environmental damages. So I move.
Any seconder to the first leg? Honorable Mukhtar Chawai.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Mukhtar Zakari Chawai. I represent Kauru Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. I rise to second the motion as moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg, honorable member from Brass.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker, and my dear colleagues. My name is Representative Marie Enenimiete Ebikake, representing the good people of Brass Dembe Federal Constituency. I rise here to second the second leg of the motion presented by my colleague. Thank you. So second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Rodney, please proceed.
Once more, thank you, Mr. Speaker. The motion is urgent need to contain oil spillage from offshore facilities around certain Ijaw coastal communities to foster further environmental damages. The House knows that certain Ijaw Federal constituency and several constituencies of the South-South Nigeria host oil installations, facilities, and companies in the oil exploitation, and production processes in Nigeria. Several oil companies like First E&P, Corn Oil, NEPL, SPDC, and Nigel United Oil Companies have pipelines and other facilities which traverses many coastal communities in southern Ijaw. The House further knows that Petroleum Industry Act and Oil Spill Recovery Cleanup, Remediation and Damage, Assessment Regulation 2021, as well as the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency set out operational standards and guidelines dealing with oil spillages to protect the environment, economic interests, and health of host communities who bear the impact of oil spillage and production. The House shocked that on the 3rd of January 2024, the people of Foropa, Ikeni, and Izetu kingdoms woke up to a devastating oil spillage from the Atlantic, which has destroyed their only source of livelihood, which is fishing and farming. Findings reveal that the oil spillage is occasioned by the leakages from the facilities operated by either of the following companies. First E&P, Corn Oil, NEPL, SPDC, and Nigel United Oil Company that owns oil installations in and around Bengetoro River. The House disturbed that the referenced oil fields does not only constitute one of the largest deep water operations in Nigeria, it also covers a large swath of southern Niger coastal waters. The volume of the damage recorded since 3rd of January 2024 until date, if not quickly arrested, will cause further damage to the waters and their content, leading to a near annihilation of aquatic lives, which is the only source of livelihood of the Middleton communities and southern Niger coastal communities. The House worried that despite the prompt reporting of this incident, the slow reaction of the companies who own these facilities around this coastal line to take responsibility over the incident is disturbing. The lethargic attitude of the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSDRA, to promptly detect the area of leakage and contain the spillage will lead to massive unrest among youths and other residents of the impacted southern Niger coastal communities, who are predominantly fishermen and women whose livelihood, health, and right to clean and safe environment is being violated by the continuous spillage. The House, desirous of intervening through taking decisive steps towards ensuring protection of lives and livelihood of coastal communities in southern Niger Federal constituency and the riverine communities, though that resolves as follows. Call on the management of all the companies who own oil facilities along the coastal communities to urgently stop the oil leakages from their facilities at Bengetoro River, affecting Foropa, Ikeni, Izetu Kingdom, and other communities in southern Niger. 2, mandate the House Committee on Petroleum Upstream to carry out an extensive investigation into the immediate and remote causes of the spillage, to ascertain which company facility is responsible for the spill, assess the extent of devastation and impact to the coastal communities of southern Niger Federal constituency, and report to the House for further legislative action. 3, call on National Emergency Management Agency to urgently supply relief materials to ameliorate the sufferings of the impacted communities who have lost the source of livelihood. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder, Honorable Kuye?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respectable colleagues, my name is Ademore Aliukuye. I speak for the good people of Shomolu Federal Constituency. I'm a Lagosian. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second, sir.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Petroleum Upstream and NEPA for further legislative inputs. Our next motion is coming from Honorable Akintunde Rotimi. Please, can you proceed and move your motion?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. With a very heavy heart, I rise under Order 8, Rule 4, to seek the leave of the House to present this motion of urgent national importance on the need to stem the tide of insecurity in Ekiti State. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to the first leg? Honorable David.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Ogel David Agada, member representing Oju Obifera constituency. I'm from Benue State. I rise this afternoon to second this motion on urgent public importance as moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion. And Honorable Njenje.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, very dear colleagues. My name is Njenje Obinna Onwusibe. I represent the people of Isialangwa North, Isialangwa South Federal Constituency of Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to second the second leg of this motion. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The House notes that there's been an increase in criminal activities in Ekiti North 1. First of all, let me introduce myself, Mr. Speaker. My name is Akitunero Timi Jr., and I represent the good people of Ekiti North 1 federal constituency comprising Ikole and Oye local governments. Mr. Speaker, it's my pleasure to present this motion of urgent national importance on the criminality currently ravaging Ekiti State. The House notes that there's been an increase in criminal activities in Ekiti North 1 federal constituency in recent times, resulting in the loss of lives and property. The House also notes that the constituency is exposed to peculiar security challenges due to the nature of our forest and topography, and more painfully because Ekiti federal roads are some of the most dilapidated in the entire country. Further notes that on Monday, January 29, 2024, these criminals carried out a dastardly attack in the Okeako area. In Ikole local government area, resulting in the death of 2 traditional rulers, the Onimojo of Imojo Ekiti, Oba Dr. Olatunji Samuel Olushola, and the Eleso of Esu Ekiti, Oba David Babatunde Ogushaki, and leaving a host of others with life-threatening injuries. Shocked that this is not an isolated event, as in the past few days alone, a commercial driver was killed between Ayedu and Ayebode by armed bandits. And just yesterday, a school bus load of students were abducted in Emure Ekiti, and their whereabouts is still unknown till now. Aware that the late Onimojo was an intellectual and highly intelligent historian, an orator who always spoke truth to power. Also aware that the late Elesu was a peace-loving king who was very hands-on in the development of Esu-Ayedu communities. Further aware that because of the topography of the area and the bad roads, there's been an incursion of murderous elements who parade themselves as headsmen, leading to heightened insecurity. The House recognizes that the entire people of Imojo in Oye local government and Esu in Ikole local government and the entire state have been thrown into mourning on account of the loss of our highly revered traditional rulers who were forces for community development, peace and stability in the constituency and the entire state. Cognizant that the Nigerian army has a military outpost on that road, which has been non-functional as the only patrol on Tuesdays, leaving the communities exposed for the rest of the days. And the Rouse resolves to observe a minute's silence in honor of the memory of the dearly departed monarchs. The House further urges the Chief of Army Staff to redeploy military personnel to the outpost along the Okeako area to enhance security and forestall a repeat of such acts. The House also directs the Inspector General of Police, the Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and other security agencies to deploy more men to Ekiti North 1 and ensure that those who carried out those acts are fished out and brought to justice. The House also urges the security agencies to put all measures in place to rescue the school children and teachers who were abducted in Emure Ekiti. The House also compels the Ministry of Works and FEMA to immediately rehabilitate the Ayedu to Irele Road and other roads in the federal constituency. The House also mandates the House Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance and report back to the House. 2 weeks. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Take it easy, Honorable. Take it easy. Any seconder? Yes. Honorable Ivy.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Very emotional from the spokesperson of the House. And I rise to second that motion. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the committees on Army, Police Affairs, Works, FEMA, and Legislative Compliance for further legislative actions. Shall we rise for a minute's silence? May the soul of the departed rest in peace. The next matter of urgent public importance is coming from Honorable Ishai David Lalu and Honorable Dalio Form Cholom. If Honorable Lalu is around, please kindly rise and move your motion.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am by name Honorable Ishaya David Lalu, member representing the good people of Mangu Bokos Federal Constituency of Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, I rise under Order 8, Rule 4, to move the motion on terrorist attack in Mangu local government area of Plateau State on the 24th January 2024. I so move.
Any seconder to the first leg? Honorable Garba Inouye.
Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, I am Right Honorable Inouye Garba, member representing the people of Yamatu Deba Federal Constituency from Gombe State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my dear colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg, Honorable Ari, can you second, but tell us the subject matter first, and then second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues, I remain Honorable Ari Mohammed Abdul Mumin, a member representing good people of National Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by my brother from Plateau State on the subject matter of these killings that is happening. I want to use the opportunity to say, may Allah forgive us and protect us. Mr. Speaker, I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Alum, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker of the People's Parliament. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the motion is on terrorist attack in Mangu local government area of Plateau State. The House note that on the 24th of January 2024, there was another attack on the people of Mangu local government area of Plateau State, killing more than 50 persons, other serious injuries, with over 1,000 houses and properties, both billions of naira completely destroyed, with about 20,000 people displaced at different IDP camps within and outside the local government area. Further note that most of the victims that sustain various degrees of injuries are currently receiving medical attention in different hospitals within the state. Worried that the continuous attack by terrorists in Mangu local government area and Bokos local government area of Plateau State need to be addressed immediately. The House resolved to observe a minute silence as a mark of respect to all those killed in the attack in Mangu local government area of Plateau State. 2, the House to urge the Chief of Defense Staff to establish a civilian joint task force in Plateau State. The House resolved to set a committee to investigate the proximate cause of the incessant terrorist attack in Mangu, Bokos, Barkinladi, and Riom local government area of Plateau State. The House resolved to mandate the committees on defense and legislative compliance to ensure compliance and furnish the House with a weekly report until the insecurity is brought under control. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Any seconder? As our honorable from Niger.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Joshua Audu Ghana, member representing Lavu Mokwa Edati Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Niger State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Shall we rise for a minute silence? May the soul of the departed rest in peace. The request of the motion is specific on ad hoc committee, and already a similar motion raised by him and Honorable Wase before we adjourned last year. We agreed to set up an ad hoc committee, so it's my pleasure to announce the membership of that committee in line with his recent request. We have as members Honorable Billy Osenaru from the South-South, Honorable Abdul Malik Danga from the North Central, Honorable Sad Soli representing Northwest, Honorable Kuye Ademorin from the Southwest, Professor Lilian from the Southeast, Honorable Ahmed Yahya Osman from Northeast, and then the Oracle of the House, Honorable Akina Derutumi. This is the composition of the committee, but without prejudice, they can also co-opt chairmen of the security committees to be members, and Honorable Sada Soli will chair this ad hoc committee. They have 4 weeks within which to report back to the House on their investigation. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, I'm sure you're aware that this coming Saturday there will be by-elections in some constituencies across the country. And in view of that, and request from members that some would want to actually go back to their constituencies to assist in campaigning on behalf of their colleagues, we find it expedient to further adjourn sitting until next week, Tuesday, 6 February by 11 a.m. so that members who are interested in going to their states and constituencies to assist in the campaign may be able to do so. So with your kind permission, we will adjourn to 6 February. I will call on the leader to move for the adjournment.
Mr. Speaker, I'm Professor Julius Ihanvere, ON, DSSRS. I rise to move that the House do adjourn to next week, February the 6th at 11 a.m., same venue. I so move.
Sorry, honorable colleagues, before I invite the leader to second this motion, I think the Deputy Speaker has an announcement. I think there is a meeting of the Committee on Constitutional Review. When is it coming up? Tomorrow, what time? 12 o'clock, all members of Constitutional Review Committee to meet 12 o'clock at the DS conference room, please. Leader, can you second?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion for adjournment. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. House adjourned to Tuesday, 6 February 2024 by 11 a.m. Thank you.
la la.